What's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about a miracle that God did to me. So a couple weeks back, I'll probably say around, the beginning of this year, sadly, my grandpa had passed away. And before that, I used to be, I'm religious, yes, I'm Catholic, and I used to always, go to church with my mom and stuff and my family, but I didn't really work on having a relationship with God personally, myself. And, sadly, after my grandpa, it was more like a feeling that I wanted to experience those feelings with God, be more closer to Him, try to hear His word, receive wisdom. And I went to church, like a couple of days after he passed, and it was my first time in church in a long time. I went by myself, and I remember it was a very sentimental feeling to know that, being there. And I remember that day I looked up and I told God that I was going to change. I was going to try to be a better person for myself and rewrite all my wrongs for rights. So this was a little miracle that he did to me, which showed me that he was with me. So I was going to church a couple times already, every Sunday. And that I got a car. I got my first car. And when I got my first car, I was riding one time to work, and my front license plate, it was loose. And I always knew it was loose, but it wouldn't never fall off because it was, it still had the screws on. And one time I was riding, I got home and I checked, and the front license plate was gone. It had fell off. So I remember I went, across with one of my friends, and we were riding, back in the streets to see if we could see it on the floor, or see if we could just see it, maybe it fell somewhere. And, it was nowhere to be found. I started to stress, and I started to doubt myself, because I thought that my life was just going downhill ever since. I was going through some things also at the time, so it was just the topping to making just my life worse for what it already was. And I was riding, I couldn't see nothing. We finally got back to my to my house. But before that, before I got to my house, I did a little prayer, I prayed to God, and I told him to help me find the license plate. Maybe it was placed somewhere, or maybe I forgot. I don't know, maybe I put it somewhere, but I knew too that, to get a brand new pair of license plates, it takes a couple months, especially now, still the COVID thing going on and stuff. So it was gonna be harder to get all those things, to get the license plates. And I knew I couldn't drive the car. It was gonna be risky, to not have a license plate on it. So I was stressing. I did a little prayer, and I got home, and I was telling my friend, kind of like I had this gut feeling to just tell him, like, show him, like, look, come here, like, let me show you, like, it was on there, fell off. I don't know where it was. I was, checking around my whole apartment, my whole complex, seeing if maybe, as I was, pulling into the house, maybe I dropped it, something. It was nowhere to be found. And it was nighttime, so, it was also dark. Maybe it was hard to see and this, but I remember I grabbed my phone and I turned my flash on, and, I was shining around the grass to see, anything. I couldn't see nothing. And I finally, go back up to my car again, and before that I had checked my car, around the surroundings. There was nothing. So I went back to my car just one more time, and you know, I was telling my friend, like, you know, I'm telling you, it was right. It was, you know, it was on there. It was, I don't know how it could have fallen off. Like, I knew it was loose, but I never expected it to fall off, you know. And I remember I flashed my flashlight, you know, to the this way. I don't know. I don't know my left and rights. I do, but it's confusing sometimes. I had turned it to my left. I turned the flashlight to my left, and the license plate was right there. So there was a car right here. So my car was right here, right? It's parked. It's like parking lot. All this is a parking lot. So it's right here parked. There was a gap, empty parking lot, and then there was a car, right? It was parked right here. And behind that car was a license plate on top of the grass. It was just laying there, you know, and I could see it because when you flash the light, if you flash the light to your license plate, it brights, you know. So I turned it and I saw a bright light, and it was a license plate. And I just heard my friend, you know, shout like, "Oh, is that the license plate?" And I walked up to it, I picked it up, I looked at it, and it was a license plate, you know. And at that moment, it was more of a shocking, you know, I was more shocked than I was like, I knew it was God, you know, helping me out and answering my prayer. But at that moment, especially, you know, getting the relationship, building the relationship with God, it was a feeling that it was like I didn't know if it was him, but I did. It was more like a mental thing. Like I was kind of more in shock, you know. But like a couple minutes later, I was thinking about all this, and you know, I knew it was God. I knew it was him answering my prayer, and I knew that he was looking out for me. And to me, the first thing I thought was, you know, the Sunday coming up, thank God, you know, that he helped me, that he gave me this opportunity, because who knows, you know, I heard it was also like 3 to 4 months to get the license plates, and you know, it was time consuming, most importantly. And you know, to be saved from that time, and it was a very, like, you know, meaningful thing to me, because it was like the highlight of all my problems. It let me know that, you know, if God put me through all those situations, but he showed me that it doesn't matter what you go through, you know, he will still bless you in some type of way. It really let me know that, you know, I tell a lot of people, and you know, me personally, I'm gonna, you know, admit my wrongs. You know, I was not perfect growing up. You know, we tend to sin a lot, but you know, we're human. No one's perfect, you know. But at that moment, I told myself that I wanted to become better, because I didn't want to be put in those. Because we also have to understand, guys, that we put ourselves in situations, meaning that we open up our own roads. God is only there to guide us. So God has a plan for all of us. You know, if whoever's watching this video and you're going through something, it doesn't matter how bad you're going through it, you know, if you pray to God and you have your faith in God, I know that he's going to help you. I know that he's going to bring obstacles to your life to make it better, or at the moment, if you need answers, he gonna give you answers. I also understand that he can talk through people. You know, it could be your friends, it could be your family, it can be people that you actually listen to. You know, they could give you advice one day, or they could call you out of nowhere and, you know, check up on you, and you may be going through a lot of bad things, but there's always going to be somebody. God's always going to send somebody your way to try to fix whatever it is you're going through. And after that miracle for me, I knew that that's what I wanted in my life. You know, I wanted more miracles to happen. I wanted more good things to come my way. So I made this video because I want to keep talking about God. I want to spread God's word. I know a lot of YouTubers. I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of famous YouTubers that, they have the faith in God, but in the YouTube videos that they make, it's more like, it's more fun. They're doing challenges, a lot of things that it's entertaining to people, but I want to make this platform because I want to spread God's word into people who need it. Because there's a lot of people who feel lost, who feel alone. My life is not perfect. I went through a lot of things as a kid. I witnessed a lot of, bad things, but it led me to who I am today. And those challenges and those obstacles that we have to go get over, we have to understand that there's always a bigger picture to it, So, I remember I used to be depressed. I used to feel alone, going through heartbreaks, going through, losing friends who you thought, were going to be your day ones, losing family members, most importantly. To me, family means the world. And as a little kid, I always had the dream to look out for my family, to one day be able to, put money on their wallets, especially my mom. My mom really battled for me and my brother, Single mom, in this world is a very hard thing to do. With 2 kids especially, is living in this world, working 24/7, trying to feed us, trying to give us clothes on our backs, food on the table. It was at the time, when you're kids, you really don't see it, because as a kid, you think of what you want. Meaning, I remember as a kid, I used to tell my mom, oh, I want these brand new pair of shoes. But when you grow and you grow wisdom with God, He makes you see all these things that, at that moment we didn't really see. At that time, we just really wanted those pair of Jordans, but we didn't see the sacrifice that our parents had to do to put those Jordans on our feet. We didn't have to work for them at that time. And sometimes we realize it when we have to work for our stuff. I remember when I had to work for my first car, working, and every single day, putting in hours. You realize that, you have to work for what you get. You really have to work for what you get. And, I understood my mom way more, especially, how I used to view her. It made me understand more. I put myself in her shoes. How growing up, she didn't have a lot of the things that she blessed me and my brother with. Clothes, shoes. It was times where they didn't have food on the table. But I could sit here and say that not one day did my mom ever leave me and my brother without food in our stomachs. And I want this to be a learning experience for, any young kids that are viewing this video that, or sometimes I know our parents don't get us. I'm Hispanic. I understand the tough love from Hispanic parents. They want us to succeed. They want us to be better than what they were. They made a lot of mistakes as kids, and they don't want us to put us through the situations that they were put through. But sometimes I understand, parents don't understand us in certain aspects that, we battle through. For example, depression. Telling Hispanic parents you're depressed it's shocking to them, because maybe they went through that as a kid, and it hurts to know that their own kid is going through the same thing. But the tough love comes out, and it's almost like, for example, my mom, she would just tell me, well, what is there to be depressed about? Échale ganas, work hard, you shouldn't be sad, clean the house. I know, it's a lot of Hispanic parents who that's what they want. They care about cleaning the house and all this. But I understood that my mom told me that, she always revolved around herself around cleaning the house, because I understood that when she used to be depressed, that was her way of coping. You know, cleaning the house, getting distracted, mopping, vacuuming, uh, cleaning the restrooms. It was a distraction to them to want to do better, to get over the depression. And they think that, well, they hope that that's something that will help us, but generations change. Every person is different. Every person has their coping. Me personally, for me to cope through my depression back then, I went to the gym. I played soccer. Soccer is something that I loved as a kid. It was a passion to me. That was a distraction. Sports was always a distraction to me because your mind is clear. You're focused on the sport. For soccer, you're focused on taking the ball away, finding open spots to get a pass through, and be able to take a shot, be able to beat your defender one-on-one. So you're focusing on that. You're not focusing on your problems, which you're thinking of at the time. So no, everything's temporary, meaning feelings. If you're feeling depressed, you're feeling lonely, know that it's temporary. It's not gonna be there forever unless you want it to. If you put yourself through the depression, if you wake up every day sad and mad at the world, you already started your day off in a bad way. So you're putting yourself through that situation. If you wake up with, I know depression is hard, meaning you still wake up sad, and even if you don't want to feel sad, it's just a feeling. Try to distract your mind. Me, I would always, pray to God. Even when people think he can't hear us, I know he can hear us. He starts to show you gifts. For example, he showed me my voice, how I was able to help other people, my friends around me. I got them close to God. Their lives turned around. They started doing better for themselves. And that led me to want to make this platform for you guys, to be able to talk to y'all, for all the people who are going through something, to come to this channel and hear me out, hear what I have to say. Whatever, the obstacles that I went through, I know a lot of people are going through the same thing, so I'm gonna share the way I got through those situations, and you guys could try it out. Maybe it helps y'all, maybe it won't. But just know, if you keep your faith in God, anything is possible. Anything you put your mind to is possible. And like I said, this is a platform that I want to spread God's word and change this world. There's a lot of cruelty in this world, but I want to change this world for a better place and really touch a lot of people who deserve it. There's a lot of people who don't deserve what they go through, but like I say, everything is temporary. With the faith of God, anything is possible. Peace, guys.